Feel the air grow colder as the moonlight breaks through the veil of clouds above. It's a familiar light, pale, quiet, and distant, as if the very heavens are whispering a forgotten secret. Yet, you can't remember the name that once commanded such reverence. A name now lost to the winds that sweep through time. It lingers in the dark corners of your mind, like the faintest echo of a sacred prayer, long abandoned. You feel drawn to it, a distant hum, a memory of something ancient. That name is Nanna, though you don't know it yet. He was the moon god, the once great ruler of the night skies, worshipped in Sumer, Akkad, and the lands beyond. He was revered as the guardian of time itself. His phases weren't just celestial movements, but symbols of divine cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. His light bathed the earth, a steady glow governing all things in the realm of the night. His followers believed that, in the soft reflection of his radiance, they saw the secrets of fate itself. But now, those secrets are forgotten, hidden beneath the weight of countless centuries. In the long-abandoned temples of yore, where his followers once gathered, Nanna's name has faded. Few remember that his light once touched the kings of men, guiding their hands in matters of state, whispering into the ears of those who sought power. They wore his symbol proudly, a crescent moon that marked them as the gods chosen. The moon wasn't just his dominion, it was his very essence, a radiant, undying force that witnessed the lives of mortals, tracing the arc of existence as surely as the heavens themselves moved. Yet as you stand in the silence of time, you realize this sacred deity is no more. His light has dimmed. His name lies lost in the forgotten tongues of ancient scribes. And no one, not even the most learned scholars, can say with certainty how or why Nanna faded from the tapestry of the gods. There was a time when his name was whispered with reverence and awe, when people saw not just a pale orb in the sky, but the living breath of a god watching over them. When the world was young, the people of yore knew the moon's light not as a celestial body, but as the god's own eternal soul. Nanna's story was one of creation, a story where light and darkness danced in the sacred ritual of his lunar reign. His temples stood as sanctuaries of divine knowledge, where priests and priestesses sought wisdom from the heavens. They gazed into the night sky, into the dark void, where Nanna's form was said to rest, and they knew that the moon's light was a reflection of the god himself. But as time wore on, the worship of Nanna began to wither, as all things do. The moon's light, once bright and pure, began to dim, and with it, so did the belief in his power. Empires shifted and faded into dust. The priests, once powerful, were replaced by those of other gods. Temples were abandoned, their stones crumbling into the earth. What had once been sacred became a forgotten footnote in history. The moon's face, once a reflection of divine will, was now merely an object in the sky to be admired, but not worshipped. Do you feel it now? The subtle shift in the air? The eerie silence that follows a name once great, now lost? It's not just the fading of a god, it's the fading of belief itself. Nanna's departure was not a sudden death. No grand cataclysm marked the end of his reign. Instead, his fading was as slow and inevitable as the waning of the moon itself, until one day, his light simply ceased to be. And as his light faded, so did the memories of his worshippers. Gone were the rituals, the offerings, the sacred chants that filled the air beneath his watchful gaze. All that remains now is the echo of a forgotten god, lost to the sands of time. You feel it again, the faintest whisper, a breath carried by the wind. The name, Nanna. It is a name now drowned by the tides of history, but still, it echoes faintly in the spaces between the stars, as though the heavens themselves are trying to recall him. Perhaps, even now, somewhere in the darkened corners of the world, a few still remember, still seek his light, but they are few, very few. Now, let us walk further into the darkness. Let the moon's light guide us through the ruins of memory, to where the past still lingers, like the faintest glow on the horizon, waiting to be rediscovered. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you find these forgotten stories as fascinating as I do, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales lost to time. We'll see you in the next one. Have you ever looked up at the moon and felt a pull, a strange sense of ancient memory? Oh. Its light, once thought to be pure and divine, now seems different, fainter. But if you listen, really listen in the quiet of the night, you can almost hear whispers of a forgotten truth. There was a time when that glow did more than just light up the dark. It shaped destinies. The very air around you seems to remember a power that has long since faded. Long before our modern world, the moon's radiance was sacred. It wasn't just reflected sunlight. It was the very essence of the Mesopotamian god, Nanna. To the people who worshipped him, the moon wasn't some rock in space. It was Nanna's living reflection, a bridge between our world and the divine. Every phase, waxing, waning, full, and new, was a powerful symbol of the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. When they looked at the moon, they weren't just stargazing. They were witnessing the divine presence of Nanna himself. The moon was more than a calendar for the ancient priests. It was the very heartbeat of the universe, and Nanna was its master. It was believed that he held dominion over the passage of time itself. To follow the moon's cycles was to align yourself with the rhythm of the cosmos, with the divine order of all things. The fate of kings, the turn of seasons, the lives of ordinary people were guided by Nanna's phases. Under his watchful light, sacred rites took place. High priests would lead the faithful in intricate rituals, their prayers rising with the incense smoke, asking for Nanna's favor and wisdom. These weren't simple offerings. They were powerful ceremonies, woven with ancient words and symbols, designed to draw Nanna's influence closer to the earth. People brought their hopes, their fears, and their dreams, seeking to understand their fate or change their fortune, believing the moon's light could reveal glimpses of the future. Nanna wasn't a distant, cold god. He was woven into the fabric of daily life. His light marked more than just passing days. It was a divine rhythm that connected the people of Mesopotamia directly to their gods. Their destinies were intertwined with the phases of the moon, and therefore, with Nanna's will. The constant waxing and waning was a celestial reminder of life's great mysteries, offering comfort in the knowledge that a wise, watchful power was always present. But as centuries passed, this profound connection began to fade. The truth of Nanna's power slipped away. The rituals grew sparse, the grand temples quieted, and the understanding of the moon as a sacred entity was lost. Other gods of war, of harvest, of the sun rose in prominence, and Nanna's domain shrank. Slowly, people began to see the moon as just an object in the sky, a natural phenomenon. Its sacredness, a relic of a bygone era. And yet, something of Nanna's radiance lingers. It's hidden beneath layers of human forgetfulness, but it's there. In the deep stillness of the night, if you listen, you might hear a faint echo of that lost time. A whisper on the wind, an ancient call to remember when the moonlight wasn't just light, but power. A power that shaped the world. For a fleeting moment, you can almost feel the weight of that forgotten force. The knowledge that the moon's rhythm was once the very heartbeat of existence. But now, the glow has dimmed. The rituals are forgotten. The light is but a shadow of what it once was. Still, the name of Nanna lingers, a faint breath from a past age, calling out from the depths of time, waiting for those who will listen, waiting for those who remember. Do you remember? Can you hear it? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the past. If you felt that whisper of ancient history, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more forgotten stories. See you next time. The wind whispers across the ancient land, carrying the scent of earth and time. It speaks of a place forgotten, a shrine where a god once dwelled. Today we journey to the heart of Mesopotamia, to the legendary city of Ur, in search of the lost temple of the moon god, Nanna. The stones that once formed its grand walls now lie scattered, as silent as the deity they once housed. Nanna's temple was the very heart of his worship. A magnificent structure adorned with murals depicting his lunar reign. Imagine high priests gathering beneath its sacred dome, performing rituals to draw the god's presence down to earth, offering wisdom and blessings to the faithful. But where is this temple now? Swallowed by the slow, grinding erosion of time, its location has become one of history's greatest mysteries. Was it buried in a great flood? Was it deliberately destroyed by those who feared its power? Or did Nanna himself, in his fading glory, withdraw his light and let his own sanctuary crumble? No one knows for sure. All that remains are fragmented clay tablets and half-remembered stories passed down through generations. For centuries, scholars and adventurers have searched the ruins of yore, drawn by these whispers of the past. Some who have dared to venture into the city's forgotten corners report hearing faint, strange sounds from deep within the earth, the temple itself, perhaps trying to remember its purpose. Others claim to have seen fleeting visions, glimpses of moonlight flickering where no moon can reach, as if the god's essence still lingers in the broken stones. These ruins, though silent, possess a haunting beauty. Nature has begun its slow reclamation, with vines twisting through shattered columns and roots embracing crumbling walls. If you look closely at the faded murals, you can still trace the faint outline of Nanna's face. His features now indistinct, his eyes empty. Local legends speak of a curse, a divine judgment for the temple's abandonment. They say something sacred was lost within its walls, a powerful artifact, or perhaps the very essence of Nanna's radiance, sealed away to keep it from vanishing forever. Whatever it was, it now lies hidden, waiting for someone brave or foolish enough to seek it out. The temple's story feels unfinished. Its broken stones stand as a silent testament that the past, no matter how deeply buried, is never truly gone. And maybe, if you stand among the ruins long enough, listening to the wind, you might hear it too. A soft whisper, calling you deeper into the heart of the forgotten shrine. A whisper that asks, will you remember? Thank you for joining us on this journey into the forgotten past. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories lost to time. We'll see you in the next one. The moonlight feels colder now, doesn't it? An icy touch that stirs forgotten memories from the deepest corners of your mind. Somewhere far below, in the ruins of a once sacred place, the priests of Nanna still linger in the shadows of your thoughts. They were the keepers of secrets, the guardians of forbidden knowledge, and yet their devotion led them down a path from which there was no return. In the silence of the night, their presence is almost palpable, a faint echo of a curse that still clings to the ruins of the past. The priests of Nanna were the highest order of his worshippers, entrusted with the sacred rituals that connected the divine moon god to the mortal realm. They were revered, their words considered to be the very will of the god himself, and their knowledge of the lunar rites was second to none. The rituals they performed weren't just simple prayers or offerings. They were acts of deep spiritual communion with Nanna. Under the light of the full moon, the priests would chant ancient incantations, offering sacrifices and invoking Nanna's power to shape the fates of kings and commoners alike. Through these rites, they believed they could access the hidden wisdom of the cosmos, revealing truths about the future and the divine order. But as their power grew, so too did their desperation. For the priests of Nanna, it wasn't enough to merely serve the god, they sought to become one with him. They believed that through their devotion, they could transcend their mortal bodies and achieve divinity themselves. This ambition, which started as noble, soon gave way to darker desires. The priests began to perform increasingly dangerous and forbidden rituals rites that pushed the boundaries of human understanding, seeking to merge their very souls with Nanna's divine essence. They thought that by drawing the god's power into themselves, they could achieve immortality, that the moon god's eternal light would shine within them forever. But the consequences of such ambition were dire. As they delved deeper into the mysteries of the lunar rites, the priests began to change. Their once pure devotion twisted into madness, and the very power they sought to wield began to consume them in their quest for immortality. They unknowingly invoked a curse of dark force that warped their minds and twisted their souls. The more they tried to draw Nanna's light into themselves, the more they became disconnected from the world of the living, their bodies decaying while their spirits lingered in the shadowy realm between life and death. They had traded their humanity for the divine, but the cost was far greater than they could have ever imagined. The curse of the lunar priests is said to be one of the darkest secrets of Nanna's worship. In their madness, they lost all sense of their original purpose. What had once been a sacred and holy practice became a twisted parody of devotion. The priests became obsessed with the idea of becoming Nanna, seeing themselves not as servants of the moon god, but as his equals. They would carve symbols of the moon into their own flesh, marking themselves as vessels for Nanna's power. Their eyes, once clear and full of purpose, became hollow and dark, reflecting the emptiness they had embraced in their quest for godhood. There are accounts of these priests wandering the streets of Yor in the dead of night, their faces obscured by the shadow of the moon. Speaking in tongues and performing strange rites that defied the natural order, some say they could summon the light of the moon itself, creating visions of the god's radiance that would fill the sky with an otherworldly beauty. But these visions were not a blessing, they were a warning. The priests had become twisted mirrors of Nanna, reflecting his light without understanding its true nature. Their power was no longer divine. It was dark and corrupted, a mockery of the very God they had once served. As their madness grew, the priests became more isolated, retreating into the depths of their temple, where they continued to perform their rituals in secret. The city of Yor, once filled with reverence for Nanna, grew silent. The people once devoted to the moon god began to fear the priests and the strange, unholy rites they performed. Whispers spread of the curse that had befallen them, and soon Nanna's worship began to dwindle. The priests, once revered as conduits of the divine, were now seen as pariahs, cursed beings who had lost their connection to both the god and the world of the living. Yet the curse did not end with their death. It is said that the priests' souls, trapped in the shadow of the moon, continued to haunt the ruins of the temple. Their restless spirits are believed to roam the ancient city, searching for a way to complete the ritual they started, to fully merge with Nanna's divine essence. But no one has ever succeeded in performing the rites that could bring them peace. Instead, they are trapped in an endless cycle, forever bound to the god they sought to become, yet forever denied his true radiance. Some claim to have seen the spirits of the priests, their pale faces illuminated by the faintest light of the moon, wandering through the ruins in the dead of night. Others say they have heard strange, incomprehensible chants echoing through the empty halls of the temple, as though the priests are still performing their cursed rituals, still seeking to ascend to divinity. No one dares approach the ruins at night for fear that the curse of the lunar priests will claim them as well. The legacy of the lunar priests is one of tragedy, a cautionary tale of ambition and madness, of a thirst for power that can never be quenched. They sought to become one with the god they worshipped, but in doing so, they lost their humanity and became something far darker. The curse that befell them is a reminder of the dangers of seeking to transcend the natural order, of attempting to wield power that was never meant for mortals, perhaps in the stillness of the night. You too can hear the faintest whispers of those long-lost priests' voices carried on the wind, calling out from the ruins of time. They ask only one thing: will you join them in their eternal search for divine power? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows. If you enjoyed this story, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more tales from the forgotten corners of history and myth. Until next time, stay curious. Can you feel it? A silence so profound it's as if the heavens themselves are holding their breath. It's a weight on your chest, an ancient memory of a time when the gods themselves went to war and the sky fractured under their wrath. The fading light of the moon god, Nanna, wasn't just the slow passage of time. No, something far darker, far more cataclysmic, set the stage for his fall. Listen closely. You might hear it in the air around you, a distant rumble, an echo of a time when the moon itself trembled. This was the Great Celestial War. Not a conflict on Earth, but a battle that shook the very foundations of the heavens. The details are lost to the ages, but its effects were undeniable. The moon began to wane, its light dimming year by year. Before this, Nanna was a god of calm and stability. His light was a beacon in the darkness, a steady guide that ruled the moons, cycles, the tides, the seasons. He was a god of patience and the inevitable beautiful rhythm of change. But that all began to unravel. Rebellion ignited in the heavens. A faction of gods, driven by ambition, rose up to challenge the old order. They sought to seize control of the cosmos, and the moon, long a symbol of divine wisdom, became their target. Nanna, who had never sought conflict, was dragged into the war. The rebels believed that by striking at the heart of time itself, by disrupting the moon's cycles, they could cripple the older gods and shift the balance of the universe. As the gods clashed, the moon began to flicker. Its once constant glow wavered, caught in the tumult of war. At the height of the conflict, it was said the moon bled, its light turning a terrifying red. Was Nanna himself wounded? Or was it an omen that the very fabric of reality was being torn apart? As the war raged on, Nanna's power dwindled. His light, once a constant in people's lives, grew weak and erratic. The war left him exhausted and broken, unable to restore the balance he once commanded. The war eventually ended, but the damage was done. The other gods, seeing Nanna's diminished form, turned away. New gods rose in his place. Gods of war, of power, of aggressive forces that captured the hearts and minds of humanity. He became an afterthought, his influence slipping into the shadows of these greater, more dominant deities. He, the once great moon god, was left to wander the ruins of a celestial kingdom that had forgotten him. For mortals, the consequences were just as dire. The people of Mesopotamia, who once looked to the moon for guidance, were now adrift in chaos. The sacred rituals and prayers that honored Nanna became hollow echoes. As people turned to other gods who promised power and protection, the memory of the gentle moon god slipped further into obscurity. And yet even now, the remnants of that great war echo through the cosmos. The moon, a pale shadow of what it once was, still bears the scars of that celestial battle. Nanna's light may have dimmed, but it has not entirely vanished. And sometimes in the deep silence of the night, if you listen very, very carefully, you can still hear the distant rumble of that ancient war. A whisper of a time when the gods tore the heavens apart and a moon god's radiance faded into the darkness. Thanks for joining us on this journey through myth and time. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the ancient world. See you next time. The moonlight is sharp tonight, its edges flickering like a dying ember. As you stand beneath its gaze, a shiver runs down your spine. There are stories whispers, really of an ancient and forbidden ritual. One that could have restored the fading light of the moon god, Nanna. It was a ritual that sought to renew his power by merging the divine with the earthly, binding the god's very essence to the land beneath our feet. But like all things tied to Nanna's fading influence, this ritual was lost, sealed away by those who feared its consequences. Yet you can feel the weight of it now, the pull of something long buried. In the final years of Nanna's worship, as his light grew dimmer and his influence waned, a desperate faction of his followers sought to bring their god back from the brink. They were the last true believers, clinging to the hope that the moon god could be restored. In their desperation, they turned to a forbidden ritual, a dangerous and untested act that would bind Nanna's divine essence to the very earth, renewing his power by merging him with the land itself. This ritual was unlike anything that had come before. It was whispered about in the deepest chambers of Nanna's temples, spoken of only in hushed tones. The ritual required the most sacred of materials: earth from the holy city of Yor, water from the deepest rivers, and a blood sacrifice to the god himself. But the most vital component was a rare artifact, the heart of the moon, an object imbued with Nanna's own power. It was said to be a glowing stone, casting a faint light that mirrored the moon. If the heart were used, Nanna's essence would be drawn back to the earth, merging his power with the physical world. But there was a catch. The ritual demanded a living being to act as the conduit between the divine and the mortal. A soul would need to be sacrificed, offering their life as a vessel for the god's power. In return, the chosen one would become an incarnation of Nanna, a living vessel of divine might. Such a sacrifice was considered heretical by many, for it crossed the boundary between God and man. It was believed that no mortal could withstand the full force of a god. As essence without losing themselves completely, either consumed by the power or left an empty shell. Yet, the followers believed this was the only way. The ritual, however, was never completed. Whether due to fear, doubt, or divine intervention, the ceremony was halted. Some say Nanna himself struck them down, for he had long since abandoned his followers. Others believe the heart of the moon was lost in the chaos, hidden away by priests who feared the consequences of attempting the impossible. Still, the idea of the ritual remains an unfinished, forbidden act that haunts the remnants of Nanna's worship. What would have happened if it succeeded? Would Nanna have been restored, or would his power have consumed the earth itself? More chillingly, what if the ritual did work? What if Nanna's power was revived, not as a god watching from afar, but as a terrifying force bound to the earth, uncontrollable? The priests who attempted this are gone, their names lost to time, but their legacy remains in the dark corners of history. The heart of the moon is still sought by those who would dare to walk the same path. Some say it's hidden in the ruins of yore, while others claim it was carried away by those fleeing the god's wrath. Even now, the faintest echo of that ancient ritual lingers, as if the very air itself remembers. Could it be that Nanna's light isn't truly gone? That somewhere the ritual is just waiting to be completed? Perhaps, if you listen carefully enough, you might hear the faintest whisper of a call. The same one that once beckoned the priests into the darkness. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the shadows of history. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an expedition into the unknown. Until next time, stay curious. Imagine you're standing under the night sky. The wind suddenly shifts, like the world itself just took a deep breath. High above, the moon flickers, just for a moment, as if it's lost its footing in the heavens. And then you see it. A shadow creeping across the lunar face, a darkness so profound it seems to swallow the light. You know, with a gut feeling, this isn't just any eclipse. This is an omen. This is the sign of a god's retreat. This celestial event, this great eclipse, is thought by many to be the moment Nanna, the ancient moon god, finally severed his ties with our world. It wasn't just a shadow play in the sky, it was a tear in the divine fabric. For those who still held Nanna in their hearts, it was a moment of profound loss, a cosmic silence that fell upon the earth like a great heavy door slamming shut forever. It was as if Nanna himself had chosen to withdraw his light, leaving nothing but darkness in his wake. By the time this eclipse occurred, the worship of Nanna had already been fading for years. His temples, once filled with song and prayer, had fallen quiet. The people had turned their devotion to gods of war, of harvest, and of earthly power. Nanna's name was mostly a whisper from the past. But this eclipse, plunging the world into a brief but total darkness, was a stark reminder of a time when he was the undisputed guiding light of the night. They say it only lasted a few minutes, but in that short span, everything changed. The moon, once a symbol of constancy, now seemed fragile, uncertain. This celestial body that had guided kings and commoners was now shrouded in an unnatural shadow. Was this Nanna's final act of defiance? His retreat from a world that had grown indifferent? Or was it something darker, the actual death of a god? Those who witnessed it were deeply unsettled. The night sky, once a familiar, comforting blanket of light, was now a blank, empty canvas. The days that followed, it said that even the land seemed to mourn. The moon's light became erratic, casting strange, dancing shadows. Many of Nanna's last followers simply vanished, as if consumed by the very darkness that had taken their god. The altars grew cold, the temples silent. As years turned into decades, the memory of the eclipse faded, becoming just another story in the grand tapestry of history. The people of Mesopotamia found new gods to follow. And yet, some believe the eclipse wasn't an end, but a message, a warning that Nanna's story wasn't over. They believe it marked the beginning of a new age, where the line between the divine and the mortal would blur, where gods could fade into whispers, leaving us to navigate the shadows on our own. Even now, if you stand under the moon's uncertain light, you might feel it an ancient, lingering presence. The echo of a god who was once whole. The eclipse may have marked Nanna's retreat, but a whisper of his light still flickers in the darkness, waiting to be rediscovered. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the past. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more tales from the shadows of history. See you next time. The night hangs heavy, thick with the scent of damp earth, ancient stone, and things long forgotten. In the distance, you can feel it. A pull, something ancient, something lost beneath layers of time. You're not just seeking ruins. You're rechasing the memories. They hold memories of a god who once watched over this world from the night sky. The last temple of Nanna, hidden deep within the ruins of yore, is calling to you. Its abandoned walls still seem to echo with the whispers of those who once walked its sacred halls. But what truly remains in the silence? What secrets are held in its decaying stone? The temple of Nanna was the very heart of his worship, a magnificent structure at the center of the city. It was surrounded by the bustling streets and the lives of people who looked to the moon for guidance. Here, the rituals of the lunar god were performed. Priests and priestesses would commune with the divine, calling upon Nanna's power to shape the fates of mortals. This temple wasn't just a place of worship. It was a sanctified space, believed to be infused with the very essence of Nanna's divine light. The moon, that steady, radiant presence in the heavens, was thought to have descended into the temple itself, filling the space with its pure and sacred energy. But as time passed, Nanna's power began to wane, and so did the temple's grandeur. The rituals stopped, the offerings ceased, and the once vibrant space grew cold and silent. The great walls, once adorned with intricate carvings telling the story of Nanna's reign, began to crumble. The towering statues of the moon god were toppled, their faces now hidden beneath the dust of centuries. The temple, once a beacon of divine presence, became a place of desolation. And then, as the worship of Nanna faded into obscurity, the temple was abandoned altogether. The people of yore turned their eyes to other deities, leaving Nanna's temple to fall into ruin. The priests, those who had once kept the divine flame alive, disappeared into the shadows, their names lost to time. The once sacred space, overgrown with vines, became a relic of a bygone age, a place where only the wind and the whispers of the past remained. But even in its ruin, the last temple of Nanna still holds a strange power. Those who have dared to venture into the forgotten corners of yore speak of a haunting presence within its walls. Some say the temple is cursed, its stones holding the lingering echoes of the god who once called it home. Others claim it's not just a place of memory, but a place where the divine essence of Nanna still lingers, waiting to be rediscovered. There are stories of those who enter the ruins and, for just a fleeting moment, catch a glimpse of the moon's radiant light, as if the god's presence has not entirely left. The last known expedition to the temple was several decades ago. A group of archaeologists, hoping to uncover the secrets of Nanna's worship, found fragments of ancient texts, broken statues, and weathered artifacts that spoke of the god's once great influence. None of them were able to find the temple's true heart, the very place where the essence of Nanna had once been stored. It was said that the temple was hiding something, a secret locked deep within its walls, but no one has ever been able to unlock it. Perhaps the most unsettling part of the temple's ruin is the legend that surrounds it. Some say that Nanna's light has never truly left, that it continues to flicker faintly beneath the rubble, waiting for someone worthy to unlock its power. There are those who believe the temple still holds the key to restoring Nanna, that his essence, though faded, still clings to the walls, waiting to be awakened by a mortal hand. But what would happen if that power were unleashed again? What if the forgotten rituals were revived? Could a god who once held dominion over time and fate return to claim the earth once more? No one knows for certain. The last temple of Nanna remains a place of mystery and danger, a place that few dare to explore. Some say it is a tomb, the final resting place of a forgotten god. Others believe it is a doorway, a threshold between our world and the divine, waiting for someone to cross it. Whatever the truth may be, the temple stands as a silent witness to Nanna's rise and fall. A place where time itself seems to bend and twist, where the memory of a god who once ruled the moon still lingers in the shadows. And as you stand before the crumbling ruins, you feel it a presence that is both distant and near, a call that seems to echo from the depths of the earth itself. It is as though the temple is waiting for you, waiting for someone to remember, to seek the god that once was. The walls may be broken, the statues fallen, but the heart of the temple remains. Perhaps in the quiet shadows of the ruins, Nanna's essence still flickers just beyond your reach. What do you think lies within the temple? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for exploring this mystery with me. If you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories from the forgotten corners of history. I'll see you next time. Have you ever looked up at the moon and felt a strange sense of emptiness, as if something is missing? Tonight we delve into one of history's most chilling and perplexing mysteries, the disappearance of the Mesopotamian moon god, Nanna. The silence that followed his departure was thick, suffocating. The moon still hung high in the sky, but its divine presence, a force that had once filled the very fabric of existence, was gone. Unlike other gods who met dramatic ends in epic battles, Nanna ... simply faded away. His name, once spoken with reverence in grand temples, became a faint echo slipping into the shadows as if he had never existed. His temples crumbled, the rituals stopped, and the prayers fell silent. But why? What happened to the god of the moon? There are no definitive records, only whispers and conflicting theories. Some believe he left willingly. The great celestial war had torn the heavens apart, and perhaps a weakened Nanna chose to retreat from the mortal realm, seeking refuge in a higher, more distant place. Others claim a more sinister fate, that he was exiled by his fellow gods, cast out for some forgotten transgression, his fading power a divine punishment. Then there are the more esoteric theories. Whispers among the few who still remember his name suggest Nanna didn't disappear at all, but transcended. He stepped beyond our mortal understanding into a higher plane of existence. In this view, his disappearance wasn't an end, but a transformation. The moon itself is a symbol of cycles, life, death, and rebirth. Could Nanna's departure be part of this grand cycle, a promise that he will return when the time is right? But the most disturbing theory is the one that has lingered in the shadows for millennia. It speaks of the heart of the moon, a sacred artifact said to contain the very essence of Nanna's divine power. Legend says this powerful relic was lost, stolen, or destroyed. Without the heart, the god's power scattered to the winds, his essence unraveling. In this version, Nanna didn't leave, was consumed, devoured by time, by shifting power, or perhaps by the betrayal of his own followers. The lack of concrete evidence only deepens the mystery. The records are fragmented, contradictory. Some hint at strange omens before he vanished, the moon's light flickering and dimming. Others tell of a final, fatal eclipse that plunged the world into terrifying darkness. But no one knows for sure. What remains is a void where a god once stood. And yet, in the quiet corners of the world, some still believe. They speak of his return, of the possibility that the god is not truly gone, but merely waiting. Waiting in the shadow of the moon for the time when his light will once again shine upon the earth. If you listen closely in the silence of the night, you can almost hear it, a faint whisper on the wind, a voice calling you to remember. So I ask you, as you stand beneath that same moon that has haunted humanity for centuries, where do you think Nanna has gone? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the past. If you love exploring the forgotten mysteries of our world, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more. I'd love to hear your own theories in the comments below. Till next time, keep looking up. The night feels heavier now, doesn't it? It's thick with the weight of forgotten truths. Just look up. The moon watches over you, pale and distant, almost as if it has something to say, but its words are lost in the silence. There's a secret in the stars, a message veiled within the light of Nanna, the ancient Sumerian moon god. Once, the priests of your might have understood its meaning, but now it's just a distant echo, an unanswered question hanging in the air. Can you hear it? A faint murmur, perhaps, but truth too powerful to be known. A certain tablet, long thought lost to time, surfaced years ago in the ruins of yore. It was a cryptic fragment, its edges worn smooth by centuries, but it carried a line that sent chills through the scholars who studied it. Inscribed upon it were the words, "The moon shall turn when the time is right. When Nanna's light fades, the final message will be given." These words, believed to be an omen of Nanna's final disappearance, speak of a cosmic moment when the moon would carry a secret message to Earth. What that message might be is unknown, and it has become the subject of wild speculation over the centuries. The interpretation of this message, much like the fate of Nanna himself, is shrouded in mystery. Some believe the message foretells Nanna's ultimate return that one day his light will shine again, bringing with it a revelation that will change the course of history. But what would this revelation be? Others speculate the message isn't one of return, but a warning, a sign that the gods' reign is not eternal, that even the celestial bodies will one day cease their cycles. These theories, though varied, are all linked by a single thread: Nanna's disappearance and the moon's role in that mystery. There are also those who believe the moon's message is a prophecy that is yet to be fully understood. According to some ancient texts, Nanna's power wasn't just over the heavens. It extended into the very fabric of human destiny. His light was believed to illuminate more than just the night sky. It was thought to reveal the deepest truths of the universe, offering wisdom that could shape the fate of all beings. The message then might be a riddle hidden within the moon's cycles, embedded in the very essence of time itself. But the most chilling interpretation suggests that Nanna's disappearance wasn't a simple fading, but part of a larger, more terrifying pattern. In this view, the message speaks not of return or rebirth, but of the gradual erosion of divine power in the world. If the gods fade, what becomes of Earth? What happens to the balance between the divine and mortal realms? And if the moon, once our guide, loses its light, what will illuminate the path forward? These questions remain among the most unsettling legacies of Nanna's worship. Its hidden message has captured the imagination of those few who still seek out the forgotten gods. Some believe the true meaning lies not in the text itself, but in the hidden symbols surrounding it. Within the ancient inscriptions of Nanna's temple, a recurring symbol appears: a crescent moon with an eye at its center. Scholars have debated its meaning for centuries. Does it represent the moon's divine gaze, a metaphor for Nanna's all-seeing ability? Or does it signify a cosmic cycle, the eye being a gateway to knowledge? The more you look at the symbol, the more unsettling it becomes. Why the eye? Why the crescent moon? And what did Nanna see in the dark corners of the universe? Whispers persist of people who have seen this symbol in their dreams, or stumbled upon it in long-forgotten places. Some claim it appears before moments of great revelation, a sign that the secrets of the gods are about to be unveiled. Others speak of it in darker terms, suggesting it's a marker of the divine watchful eye, a reminder that the gods never truly leave, even when their names are forgotten. As you stand beneath the moon's gaze, you can almost sense it, a faint pulse of something ancient, something eternal. Could it be that the message hidden in the cycles of the moon is waiting for those who dare to listen? Perhaps it's a secret reserved for the few who seek the gods even in their absence. It is said that those who hear the message will be changed forever. A warning, a blessing, a curse. Maybe it's all of those, or something more. Something that defies mortal comprehension. Oh, you might even wonder if the message is already being revealed. Perhaps in the stillness of the night, it's waiting for you to uncover it. You stand there beneath the cold glow of the moon, listening to the silence, waiting for a sign. A message, whatever it may be, remains locked in the heavens, waiting for the right one to finally hear. The moon's glow flickers, and in that moment you feel it again, the pulse of something ancient, something waiting. Could this be Nanna's secret message, finally revealed? Thanks for joining me on this journey into the mysteries of the past. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more explorations into the forgotten corners of history. See you next time. Beneath the cold, pale moon, its light a fractured mirror of something ancient. The very night seems to hold its breath. Somewhere buried beneath rubble and lost ruins lies a symbol. Once it represented reverence, but now it carries the weight of heresy. The crescent moon, once sacred to the god Nanna, has taken on a darker meaning. What began as a sign of divine protection is now whispered in fear, a sigil, holding both power and danger. What happened? How did the moon's symbol turn into a mark of forbidden knowledge? The lunar symbol, a simple crescent that once adorned Nanna's altars, became something much darker after his disappearance. As gods of war and power seized the land, the crescent moon ceased to represent divine wisdom. Instead, it became associated with the occult. Secret cults and societies, seeking to wield the moon's power for their own ends, appropriated the symbol. It became an emblem for those who defied the new order of gods. For many, the crescent was a sad reminder of what had been lost. But for others, it became a sign of rebellion, a challenge to the aggressive deities who had taken Nanna's place. As these secret sects grew, Their use of the lunar crescent took on a sinister edge. It was no longer a mark of devotion, but one of defiance, used in rituals that pushed the boundaries of the natural and divine. The most infamous of these groups were the Children of the Moon. They believed Nanna's absence wasn't a tragedy, but a doorway to a new, forbidden power. They performed rituals to call upon Nanna's essence, not to restore him, but to control his power and bend it to their will. By invoking the lunar symbol, they thought they could open a gateway to the divine, pulling Nanna's fading light into their own bodies and becoming vessels for his essence. But these rituals came with terrible consequences. The Children of the Moon sought to blur the lines between mortal and divine, between life and death. They believed that by binding themselves to the lunar symbol, they could gain access to hidden, forbidden wisdom. But such knowledge always comes at a cost. It's said that many who participated were never the same. The power they sought consumed them, shattering their minds and warping their bodies. Some became obsessed, carving the crescent moon into their skin with blood. Others claimed to have seen visions flickering fragments of Nanna's power, offering glimpses of divine wisdom, but at the price of their sanity. These visions weren't of peace or grace. They were twisted, corrupted fragments of a god's former glory, warped by the mortals who sought to control it. The Children of the Moon and other heretical sects like them were eventually hunted down and erased from history. Their temples were destroyed, their rituals forbidden. The lunar symbol became synonymous with dark magic. To where the crescent moon was to risk being branded a heretic, in time, the symbol faded into the shadows, its sacred meaning lost. But the fear it inspired remained. Was the symbol itself cursed? Does invoking it open a door to a force beyond mortal comprehension, trapping you in a cycle of obsession? Or is it simply a reminder that the power of the gods can never be fully understood by mortals? The answer remains locked away in forgotten temples and lost rituals. What is clear is that the lunar symbol, once a mark of divine protection, has become a reminder of the price paid for seeking power beyond your reach. The Children of the Moon may be gone, but their legacy lingers, whispered in the dark corners of the world. And as you stand beneath the moon's pale gaze, you might wonder, does that symbol still hold its power, lurking in the shadows, waiting for someone to seek it out once more? Thanks for journeying into the shadows with us. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next descent into the unknown. See you next time. Have you ever gazed at the moon and felt a strange, inexplicable pull? As the stillness of the night settles around you and the moon's light grows colder, its pale reflection can feel almost unsettling. There's something about it that stirs a feeling deep within you, as if its light isn't just a distant glow, but somehow tied to something inside your very soul. It is said that the moon holds a reflection, not just in the sky, but in the hearts of those who gaze upon it. What if the light of the ancient moon god, Nanna, still lingers, not in the heavens, but within the souls of those who once followed him? In ancient days, the bond between gods and mortals was intimate. Nanna's followers believed his light was a celestial force that could touch the essence of the human soul. To look upon the moon was to invite the god's radiance into your being, to merge with his divine wisdom and power. The moon was thought to hold the secrets of fate, a mirror into which one could see the patterns of the universe itself. But as Nanna's influence faded, and he was lost to time, something strange occurred. His reflection began to appear within the souls of his followers. This connection, once a divine gift, became far more complex. It was as if their devotion had caused them to absorb a piece of the god, a fragment of Nanna's essence that could be erased even as the god himself vanished from the world. Some call this phenomenon the echo of Nanna, a whisper of his power that remains in the hearts of those who once knew his light. For some, this echo is a source of strength, a quiet guidance that endures long after the temples have crumbled. But for others, it has become a haunting, a burden that can't be shaken. There are those who claim to feel a tan, overwhelming sense of longing when they look at the moon, as if they're searching for something they can never find. They speak of hearing Nanna's voice in their dreams, calling them back to the ancient rites that once bound them to him. But these dreams are not comforting. They are fractured, fleeting glimpses of something far darker than they expected. In these visions, Nanna's face is not a gentle reflection of wisdom, it is twisted, distorted, a shadow of what he once was. The moon, once a symbol of purity, now casts an eerie glow, a reminder of the god's fading essence. For those who feel this echo, the connection is both a blessing and a curse. The moonlight becomes a constant reminder of what has been lost. Some believe this is a sign that Nanna's essence still lingers, a faint pulse of divine power calling to his old worshippers. Others, however, see it as a dangerous obsession, a hollow echo that distorts the souls of those who cling to it. Perhaps the most unsettling part is the idea that the echo might not be a remnant of the god's power at all, but a manifestation of something darker. There are whispers of those so consumed by the desire to reconnect with Nanna that they have lost themselves entirely. Their worship has twisted into madness, their minds fractured by the need to reclaim what was lost. They are said to wander beneath the moon, lost in a fog of obsession, searching for a connection that can never be restored. Their souls, once touched by the divine, become shadows of their former selves, consumed by the very power they sought to reclaim. In distant corners of the world, there are still those who seek the echo of Nanna. They gather in secret beneath the moon, performing rituals born not of reverence, but of desperation. They seek a return to the light that once guided them. Yet as they do, they slip further into darkness, as if the very act of seeking Nanna's power pulls them deeper into the shadows of their own souls. The true danger may not be Nanna's absence, but the lingering remnants of his light that still reside within us. Perhaps his essence can't be reclaimed through rituals or prayers. Perhaps, like the moon itself, it must be allowed to fade, only to return in a new cycle. And yet even now, as you stand beneath the moon's ghostly light, you might feel it. It's that faint stirring deep within yourself. Pull, a sense of something ancient and forgotten. Could Nanna's reflection linger in you? Or is it just a longing, a void that can never be filled? The answer might be hidden in the darkness of the moon itself, in the space between light and shadow. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more stories that explore the shadows of our world. The air grows colder, and the moon stares down at you. Its pale light casts long, stretching shadows that seem to dance at the edge of your vision. There's an unsettling quiet, a stillness that wraps around you, and with it, a creeping sense of unease. Have you ever felt it? That pull towards something divine, the allure of a god's power. But be careful. Some have followed that pull too deeply, their devotion twisting into a terrifying madness. They sought the moon god Nanna's light, but instead, they were consumed by the darkness within it. The moon's radiance might promise guidance, but it also has the power to completely unravel the mind. Years after Nanna disappeared, as the moon's light began to flicker and fade, the last of his worshippers descended into madness. The world moved on, and the moon's pale glow became a distant, fading memory. But for a few, this wasn't something to accept. It was something to fight. These were the last of Nanna's most devoted followers. They believed the moon's waning light didn't signal the end, but the beginning of a dark, forgotten path. Their obsession, once a source of wisdom, became a desperate drive for those who couldn't let go. To them, the moon wasn't just a celestial body. It was their lifeline to a power they could no longer touch. The priests of Nanna, long forgotten, became shadows. Their rituals, once filled with reverence, were now performed in desperation. They tried to capture the fleeting fragments of Nanna's power, hoping to revive his influence. But the more they sought it, the deeper they fell into madness. It's said their rituals grew darker with each passing year. Sacred ceremonies turned into frantic, erratic, chance-twisted acts of devotion that invoked not the wisdom of the moon, but its raw, primal force. The line between the divine and the mortal blurred. The priests no longer sought to serve Nanna. They sought to become Nanna. They believed that through their devotion, they could merge with the god they worshipped and transcend their mortal limits. But the cost was high. The more they chanted and meditated on the moon, the more their minds became untethered from reality. The power they sought wasn't divine wisdom, but the chaos of an unfathomable force that tore their sanity to shreds. Some priests began speaking in tongues, muttering words from outside of time. Others fell silent, their eyes glazed over, seeing things far beyond our world. In trying to get closer to Nanna, they became lost to themselves and to everyone else. It's said that those who ventured into the ruins of Nanna's temples seeking to commune with the god, would often return. Changed, they spoke of visions, terrifying, beautiful visions of the moon, but not the moon as it once was. The moon they saw was a reflection of something darker, twisted by time. In these visions, Nanna wasn't a god of wisdom, but a force of pure chaotic power and entity that mortal minds could never comprehend. Some saw the moon's face, but it was distorted, cracked like a shattered mirror. Others claimed that in the deepest parts of the ruins, they heard whispers that spoke of a time when Nanna had been whole, but also of something that had been broken. The whispers promised knowledge, but it was knowledge that would unravel the mind and fragment the soul. Some of these lost worshippers were found wandering the streets, their minds shattered, their eyes vacant, their shells of their former selves, forever marked by their desperate pursuit. They muttered strange words no one could understand and looked to the moon with both reverence and fear. They had found what they were looking for, but it wasn't the god they sought. It was something darker, something that had consumed them. Even now, there are still those who search for Nanna. They are the inheritors of this madness, walking beneath the moon's light, seeking the same power. In the abandoned temples, there are still whispers. Some say the spirits of the mad priests linger there, caught between worlds, their souls forever trapped in the moon's shadow. Perhaps they wait for someone to join them. You feel it now, don't you? That pull? The faintest stir of something ancient, something forgotten. The whispers of those who came before. The moon's light flickers, and for a moment you wonder, could you be hearing the call too? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the shadows. If you enjoyed this story, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales from the forgotten corners of lore. Till next time, stay curious. The silence deepens, the air growing heavy, thick with a sense of finality. High above, the moon hangs like a pale sliver in the black void, casting long, uncertain shadows that stretch and twist across the land. This is no ordinary night. You can feel it in your bones, the lingering echo of an ancient truth. A truth the heavens themselves seem to whisper, just one last time. The light of the god faded, and with it, the world was forever changed. This was an event that shook the very core of existence. It wasn't just some astronomical phenomenon, a temporary shadow play in the sky. No, this was different. This was the final breath of a god who had once illuminated the entire world with his light. The eclipse lasted only for a few moments, but in that short span, everything changed. The world plunged into a deep, unnatural darkness, as though the heavens themselves had closed their eyes. For the first time in history, Nanna's light, which had guided mortals for millennia, vanished completely. Those who witnessed it spoke of an overwhelming sense of loss, as though the very fabric of the universe had torn. The sky, once so full of divine power, seemed to collapse, leaving the world in an unsettling stillness. There were no stars to guide the way, no moon to offer solace, only an empty, suffocating void. For those who clung to the belief in Nanna's power, the eclipse was a death sentence. It was the final, undeniable proof that their god had abandoned them. The eclipse wasn't just a symbol of his departure, it was a cold reminder that the divine was no longer with them. Lost and disillusioned, the people turned away from the ancient rites, seeking comfort in new gods of war, fertility, and strength, who promised power, but not the wisdom or balance that Nanna had once provided. But some could not let go. They lingered in the aftermath, their hearts heavy with the memory of a god who had been so close. They wandered the ruins of old temples, seeking signs, whispers, any trace of the god they had lost. They still believed that Nanna's light had not completely faded, that his essence still lingered somewhere in the shadows, waiting to be found. But the silence of the eclipse had swallowed all the whispers. In the wake of that final eclipse, the silence took root. The once vibrant worship of Nanna faded into nothing. Temples fell into ruin, their stones crumbling under the weight of time and neglect. The sacred rituals were forgotten, their meanings lost. Even the symbol of the crescent moon became just a relic of a bygone age. There were no great cataclysms, no divine retribution. Instead, there was only this overwhelming silence, stretching across the world, leaving behind only the echo of what once was. Nanna's name, once spoken with reverence, became a faint whisper, a myth of the past. The people moved on, as people always do, but an emptiness remained. The god who had ruled the moon, whose light had guided them through the darkness, was gone. And in his place was only the moon still rising, still setting, but no longer a reflection of the divine. But it seems silence is never truly complete. There are those who still listen. In the dead of night, beneath the pale moon, they hear the faintest stirring, as if Nanna's essence still lingers, trapped in the fabric of the heavens. His light may have dimmed, but some believe it has not gone out. This silence may be eternal, but it is not the end. The final eclipse marked Nanna's departure, but it also marked the beginning of something else awaiting. Perhaps Nanna hasn't truly abandoned the world. Perhaps his absence is merely the space between breaths, the moment between dusk and dawn. And as long as the moon rises, casting its pale light upon the earth, there will always be those who listen, who remember. Perhaps the god still waits, not for the world to find him, but for the world to listen again. Perhaps, in the eternal silence, Nanna's light is not truly gone, but simply waiting for those who are ready to see it. If your candle hasn't gone out, then you're probably ready for the next god. Thank you so much for journeying with me through this story. If you enjoy exploring the echoes of myth and legend, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more tales from the shadows of history. Till next time, keep listening. The night feels eternal now, its vastness stretching beyond the horizon, as though the universe itself is holding its breath. The moon, a distant memory, lingers in the sky, its light faint, as if it knows its time has passed. And yet there is a subtle stirring in the air, quiet, persistent pulse, like an echo from the edge of time itself. You stand here on the precipice of the unknown, sensing that the journey hasn't truly ended. No, this is merely the closing of one chapter, a chapter that leads into another. Darker, more ancient. Can you hear it? The next whisper, the next god, waiting in the shadows. As you stand beneath this broken sky, under the dim glow of a moon that no longer holds its power, something shifts. A faint whisper stirs a sound that seems to rise from the very earth, echoing in the chambers of your mind. The story of Nanna, though ended for the world, is far from over. It's just one thread in a much larger tapestry, one that spans the ages, where forgotten gods wait in silence. Their names lost, but their essence ever present. For every god who fades, another waits in the shadows, ready to rise. The gods of old may have been abandoned, but the divine is never truly gone. It shifts, it changes, but it endures. It's said that for every god lost, another takes its place, born from the ruins, rising in forgotten corners of the world. The next god, whoever they are, wherever they may dwell, just waiting for the right moment to re-enter our world. Perhaps, in some distant land, another forgotten deity waits beneath the stars. Their name known only to the wind, their power flickering like a distant star. Perhaps their light, like Nanna's once was, is waiting for those brave enough to seek it out. Their influence might be quietly weaving through the fabric of existence, biding its time until the world once again turns its eyes to the divine. But there's something unsettling in this realization. You understand now in the deepest part of your soul that the gods aren't just external beings. They are reflections of something far greater, something beyond mortal comprehension. The gods are born from the hearts of humanity itself, from the collective hopes, fears, and desires of those who worship them. As long as there are mortals who seek meaning, there will always be gods to fill that need. And these gods, whether known or forgotten, will never truly be lost. In the deep silence of the night, you begin to grasp the true nature of Nanna's story. It was never just about the moon or the fading of one god. It was a story of cycles, of rebirth, of the eternal struggle between light and darkness, between knowing and unknowing. The god who fades will one day rise again, just as the moon waxes and wanes. There is no end, only transition. Nanna's story is the story of all gods. They rise, they fall, and they rise again, forever bound to the endless flow of time. The world may have turned away from Nanna, but it is never truly free of the gods. They live in the corners of our thoughts, in the symbols we cherish, in the dreams we cannot explain. They live in the darkness between stars, in the quiet moments when we are most vulnerable. The gods are never far. They're always waiting, listening for those who will hear their call. And so, you stand here in the stillness of the night, beneath a sky that has seen the rise and fall of countless gods. Perhaps you are ready now, ready to listen for the next god, the one who whispers in the shadows, the one who waits for those brave enough to hear the call. Perhaps that next whisper is already stirring, older than time itself, but only for those who truly listen. There are more gods. There are always more gods. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this exploration, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss our next story. Till next time, keep listening to the whispers. Feel the air grow colder as the moonlight breaks through the veil of clouds above. It's a familiar light, pale, quiet, and distant, as if the very heavens are whispering a forgotten secret. Yet, you can't remember the name that once commanded such reverence. A name now lost to the winds that sweep through time. It lingers in the dark corners of your mind, like the faintest echo of a sacred prayer, long abandoned. You feel drawn to it, a distant hum, a memory of something ancient. That name is Nanna, though you don't know it yet. He was the moon god, the once great ruler of the night skies, worshipped in Sumer, Akkad, and the lands beyond. He was revered as the guardian of time itself. His phases weren't just celestial movements, but symbols of divine cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. His light bathed the earth, a steady glow governing all things in the realm of the night. His followers believed that, in the soft reflection of his radiance, they saw the secrets of fate itself. But now, those secrets are forgotten, hidden beneath the weight of countless centuries. In the long-abandoned temples of yore, where his followers once gathered, Nanna's name has faded. Few remember that his light once touched the kings of men, guiding their hands in matters of state, whispering into the ears of those who sought power. They wore his symbol proudly, a crescent moon that marked them as the gods chosen. The moon wasn't just his dominion, it was his very essence, a radiant, undying force that witnessed the lives of mortals, tracing the arc of existence as surely as the heavens themselves moved. Yet as you stand in the silence of time, you realize this sacred deity is no more. His light has dimmed. His name lies lost in the forgotten tongues of ancient scribes. And no one, not even the most learned scholars, can say with certainty how or why Nanna faded from the tapestry of the gods. There was a time when his name was whispered with reverence and awe, when people saw not just a pale orb in the sky, but the living breath of a god watching over them. When the world was young, the people of yore knew the moon's light not as a celestial body, but as the god's own eternal soul. Nanna's story was one of creation, a story where light and darkness danced in the sacred ritual of his lunar reign. His temples stood as sanctuaries of divine knowledge, where priests and priestesses sought wisdom from the heavens. They gazed into the night sky, into the dark void, where Nanna's form was said to rest, and they knew that the moon's light was a reflection of the god himself. But as time wore on, the worship of Nanna began to wither, as all things do. The moon's light, once bright and pure, began to dim, and with it, so did the belief in his power. Empires shifted and faded into dust. The priests, once powerful, were replaced by those of other gods. Temples were abandoned, their stones crumbling into the earth. What had once been sacred became a forgotten footnote in history. The moon's face, once a reflection of divine will, was now merely an object in the sky to be admired, but not worshipped. Do you feel it now? The subtle shift in the air? The eerie silence that follows a name once great, now lost? It's not just the fading of a god, it's the fading of belief itself. Nanna's departure was not a sudden death. No grand cataclysm marked the end of his reign. Instead, his fading was as slow and inevitable as the waning of the moon itself, until one day, his light simply ceased to be. And as his light faded, so did the memories of his worshippers. Gone were the rituals, the offerings, the sacred chants that filled the air beneath his watchful gaze. All that remains now is the echo of a forgotten god, lost to the sands of time. You feel it again, the faintest whisper, a breath carried by the wind. The name, Nanna. It is a name now drowned by the tides of history, but still, it echoes faintly in the spaces between the stars, as though the heavens themselves are trying to recall him. Perhaps, even now, somewhere in the darkened corners of the world, a few still remember, still seek his light, but they are few, very few. Now, Let us walk further into the darkness. Let the moon's light guide us through the ruins of memory, to where the past still lingers, like the faintest glow on the horizon, waiting to be rediscovered. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you find these forgotten stories as fascinating as I do, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more tales lost to time. We'll see you in the next one. Have you ever looked up at the moon and felt a pull, a strange sense of ancient memory? Oh. Its light, once thought to be pure and divine, now seems different, fainter. But if you listen, really listen in the quiet of the night, you can almost hear whispers of a forgotten truth. There was a time when that glow did more than just light up the dark. It shaped destinies. The very air around you seems to remember a power that has long since faded. Long before our modern world, the moon's radiance was sacred. It wasn't just reflected sunlight. It was the very essence of the Mesopotamian god, Nanna. To the people who worshipped him, the moon wasn't some rock in space. It was Nanna's living reflection, a bridge between our world and the divine. Every phase, waxing, waning, full, and new, was a powerful symbol of the endless cycle of life, death, and rebirth. When they looked at the moon, they weren't just stargazing. They were witnessing the divine presence of Nanna himself. The moon was more than a calendar for the ancient priests. It was the very heartbeat of the universe, and Nanna was its master. It was believed that he held dominion over the passage of time itself. To follow the moon's cycles was to align yourself with the rhythm of the cosmos, with the divine order of all things. The fate of kings, the turn of seasons, the lives of ordinary people were guided by Nanna's phases. Under his watchful light, sacred rites took place. High priests would lead the faithful in intricate rituals, their prayers rising with the incense smoke, asking for Nanna's favor and wisdom. These weren't simple offerings. They were powerful ceremonies, woven with ancient words and symbols, designed to draw Nanna's influence closer to the earth. People brought their hopes, their fears, and their dreams, seeking to understand their fate or change their fortune, believing the moon's light could reveal glimpses of the future. Nanna wasn't a distant, cold god. He was woven into the fabric of daily life. His light marked more than just passing days. It was a divine rhythm that connected the people of Mesopotamia directly to their gods. Their destinies were intertwined with the phases of the moon, and therefore, with Nanna's will. The constant waxing and waning was a celestial reminder of life's great mysteries, offering comfort in the knowledge that a wise, watchful power was always present. But as centuries passed, this profound connection began to fade. The truth of Nanna's power slipped away. The rituals grew sparse, the grand temples quieted, and the understanding of the moon as a sacred entity was lost. Other gods of war, of harvest, of the sun rose in prominence, and Nanna's domain shrank. Slowly, people began to see the moon as just an object in the sky, a natural phenomenon. Its sacredness, a relic of a bygone era. And yet, something of Nanna's radiance lingers. It's hidden beneath layers of human forgetfulness, but it's there. In the deep stillness of the night, if you listen, you might hear a faint echo of that lost time. A whisper on the wind, an ancient call to remember when the moonlight wasn't just light, but power. A power that shaped the world. For a fleeting moment, you can almost feel the weight of that forgotten force. The knowledge that the moon's rhythm was once the very heartbeat of existence. But now, the glow has dimmed. The rituals are forgotten. The light is but a shadow of what it once was. Still, the name of Nanna lingers, a faint breath from a past age, calling out from the depths of time, waiting for those who will listen, waiting for those who remember. Do you remember? Can you hear it? Thank you for joining me on this journey into the past. If you felt that whisper of ancient history, be sure to like this video and subscribe for more forgotten stories. See you next time.